Welcome back, everyone. Episode 2 of Discovering Bulgarian Music.
Thanks everyone who watched the last episode, the first episode, which was about Tangra. The response to that was really, really good. I think
so good.
I think the great thing was we had so much feedback from people suggesting bands that we should check out. A lot of the bands you suggested are already on our list,
They
so
already are.
we're obviously along the same lines. But it was great to see that talking about a band which obviously we have only discovered since living in Bulgaria. It was great to see how many people, it
Triggered
memories for people, and people shared stories with us, which I think is the whole point of this. Discovering Bulgarian bands, many of them from a long time ago, is a real voyage of discovery for us. Bulgaria's such an amazing place, so full of history, so many things that we're learning about all the time, all the food, all the culture, but music is a big part of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly a lot of the Bulgarian language bands especially, from before 1990, we just never were aware of these bands in Western nations.
No.
And so for us, discovering these bands now is absolutely amazing. And we hope to kind of like share that with you with this series of YouTube videos. So today, the band we're talking about.
Well, if you were here last week, you'll know.
You'll know, absolutely.
And if you haven't watched that one, watch that one first, then come back.
Yeah. Shturcite, the Crickets.
The Crickets.
And this band, I heard a song, I don't know whether it was on Z-Rock or I don't know whether it was just on YouTube when I was just like searching through for Bulgarian bands, but I heard a specific song that we're going to get around to afterwards as being my favourite. And that night when I came home, put it straight on YouTube, played it for Hannah and said, this band is so incredible. And then obviously went back and found out a lot about the band. But much like Tangra, they have been around for an incredibly long time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Proper at the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning of Bulgarian rock music. Yeah. They formed in 1967. Kirill Marechkov and Petar Sankov were from a band called Burgaria, and they met Petar Gyasolev and Veselin Kisyov, and they were from Slanchevite Bratia. Two bands, my understanding was they were kind of like beat groups or early rock bands in the early part of the 60s in Sofia. And they got together in 1967. They must have still been very, very young at that point.
I guess, yes.
Yeah. And I read that they made a couple of recordings, one of which was a cover song by The Shadows, which was Cliff Richard's band, an instrumental band from the UK. And at that point when they formed, apparently, they obviously, must have had a little bit of interest and they needed a name. Now, the story I read online was super interesting about the name. It's really funny how they came about it. I read that there was a radio competition to name the band. And then I read further that in a documentary, the band had actually talked about this and said that the name The Crickets was originally suggested by their mothers who used to come along to rehearsal. And I guess the government at the time who registered band names didn't like the association with the Beatles. The Crickets, the Beatles, being a band from the West, they didn't want to have a band that maybe reminded people of that name. So I think the band in a roundabout way had thought, well, maybe if we could have a radio competition and put it out to the kids on one of the youth programs on the Bulgarian National Radio, to suggest a name for the band, and then they would get all their friends to vote for the name The Crickets, that would become the name, and it would seem in a roundabout way to kind of get around any government control.
Yeah, and that it was just an organic, it's just a coincidence, really.
And that's what happened anyway. I mean, that was the brilliant thing, that they managed to get the name they wanted by maybe going around, come in through the back door and do it that way.
Imagine the people that were like saying no, and they're just like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
How did the people think up this? This is one we didn't want.
Yeah. But either way, whichever the true story is, it's great that there's a couple of conflicting stories for that one, just to name the band. But by all accounts, that the music we listen to, we've been listening to the band for a long time.
Yes, they're not new to us.
No, and much like Tangara, when we talked about Tangara last week, Shturcite covers a lot of bases. They definitely were producing music, I guess, that was probably it was their version of Western bands.
Yes,
and certainly when they formed, they were making music that was very similar to the UK, I guess, beat groups.
The equivalent from the West, basically.
Yeah,
and I was thinking to myself yesterday when I was listening to them, this band, like, they are big in Bulgaria, but if they were like, I think this is the privilege of English speaking bands.
Yeah.
You have a world to sell your music to.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously if you sing in your local language, what is it?
It's a smaller audience.
The audience, that's it, gets smaller.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's wonderful that the band obviously always sung in Bulgarian.
Oh, of course.
But like Hannah just kept on saying to me, if some of these songs were released in the West and they were in English, they would have been huge hits.
I think they would be up there. They would be on every compilation album, every dad rock album that gets released, like every Father's Day in the UK or even America probably.
Yeah.
They would be played on radio stations across the world because those songs, the quality is there. Yeah. It's just brilliant. The songs are really, really good.
Right from the start as well. The quality was incredible.
Yeah.
I guess they were recording at Balkan Tone, the studio in Sofia. That was the record label as well that would have released everything.
Yeah,
the state-run record label.
Most popular bands most bands that we'll cover that are especially from that time, that will be the record label, won't it?
And I did read actually that recording studio had a lot of equipment that had come from UK recording studios. So by all accounts, they were actually using really, really good equipment to release, to
the
record.
Quality is very good, yeah.
And right from the start, as I say, the first EP actually has one of my early favourites of the band, Song for the Crickets, it's called, isn't it?
Pesen za Щурците.
That's absolutely incredible. I heard that song and I just thought, well, it sounds like a song by The Who from the 60s. Absolutely incredible. Such a great song. Really good, like, fuzz guitar solo in it. Great harmonies. We're very privileged, obviously, in modern times to still be able to find all this music from around the world with resources like YouTube and things like that. But at the time, as I say, if that song was being released in the West, it would have been competing with the biggest bands of the time.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic. What sort of stuff did you discovered? A bunch of the sort of more 70s funk-based stuff that you really liked.
Yes. Now I'm going to read this with my handwriting of Cyrillic, so hang on a sec. It's Snezhna Prikazhka. So funky.
Yeah.
So funky. And that is such a cool song.
Yeah. There was definitely, I kind of felt some of their 70s output, some of it was quite sort of lightweight, but then some of it, was super funky, almost like funk, almost like Steely Dan, kind of quite jazz, jazz and funk influences in that.
So yesterday I listened to, on Spotify, it's a bit chaotic trying to listen to their music. So I listened to their compilations. So I listened to the first compilation, which is 67 to 77. That song I just mentioned definitely sounds like it was on the later part of the 70s. Decade. But there is a song called Zvan, which is very like Beatles, happy pop rock, like Zvan, Zvan, Zvan. It goes like that. Just in that first compilation of that first 10 years, there is so many genres. It is crazy.
Yeah, they definitely are jumping around, I guess, because, I guess, again, they were maybe recreating music that they heard from the West for an audience in Eastern Europe, which is amazing. That they were good enough musicians that they could kind of like reinterpret and take elements of that sort of Western style of music and make it for Bulgarian audiences, which I think was brilliant.
Another type of genre shift that I noticed was more of that like psychedelic.
Yeah, prog rock.
Is that what you would describe it? The one that you said it was like Mamas and Papas California.
Oh
sound,
yeah, like California sound. Yeah.
Which is Iz Prashtane. Iz Prashtane. And very like, almost like, what's that sound of like the guitar that's
like a sitar?
Because the Beatles kind of went that way as well, didn't they? Yeah. It sounds like that, and that's those caught my ear every time that one of those songs came on.
Yeah, super good harmonies, and definitely kind of reminiscent of that California sound of the late 60s. And when you say, obviously, all the tie-ins with the Beatles, the band, a lot of articles you read about the band, they are described as being the Bulgarian Beatles.
Of course, yeah.
And I think as much because they were able to switch around all these different genres and produce music of such a high quality. They were such great musicians, such great vocals, great lyrics. They, much like the Beatles, in quite a short space of time, were able to produce something for everyone. Produce styles of music that must have included all audiences.
They definitely evolved.
Yeah.
They definitely, like, each album definitely has a distinct sound.
Amazing, yeah. And certainly once, for me, as much as I liked that song for the Crickets from their first EP, once they started getting into the late 70s and early 80s, when they really started, I thought, to become quite sort of like prog rock sounding, there is some incredible albums there.
Well, first, before we jump to the later albums, there is one song on that compilation that stands out.
We're super confused about this.
That as soon as I think I was maybe making dinner, and as soon as it came on, I was like, hang on a second, like, has the compilation ended and it's just starting to play songs that are like from a similar genre, but obviously from America, that it is an American band. Yeah. And I was just like, hang on a second. So I had to go to my phone and look at it. No, we're still listening to the compilation. So there is a song called Taka Bilo E, and it is a cover.
It is. Well, I guess.
Well, the music is
Just Play That Funky Music, White Boy by Wild Cherry.
Exactly. So
with different lyrics.
But the lyrics are different. Obviously, it's sung in Bulgarian, and they are different song title, different lyrics.
But music, note for note, it's exactly the same. And what we're super confused about is we can't find any reference to the fact that this is another song.
Yeah.
I must admit, in everything I read online, no one even mentions it, which I think is really strange.
Yeah, and then you even said, like, look at the writing credits on Spotify, because obviously it'll note, like, who's wrote the song, because the music, they didn't write that music.
Yeah.
But it does.
But I think it's just listed as Ben Kirill Marichkov.
It is, yeah.
So we're confused about that. I don't know if any of you out there have listened to that song and obviously thought, oh yeah, I know this is a different song. But as I say, it has different lyrics. It's not as though it's translated and sung just in Bulgarian.
Yeah.
It has a different set of lyrics. But yeah, it's from, I guess, maybe around the 77 mark, it must be.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just in that first compilation, which is 67 to 77. So I can't really pinpoint when it was. But imagine hearing that. I don't know if it was released as just a single or if it was on some sort of...
I couldn't find it on an album, but yeah.
But so maybe it was just a single, and like loving that when it comes out at the time, and then maybe later on into the future, and when you know, like the Western music comes, like, hey, they covered the Shturcite song, and they messed up the lyrics. Imagine that.
If you know the answers to how this came about, that would be wonderful to hear. But definitely that 70s period, they had some great funky songs, but then, as I say, they moved musical styles again probably to the style that I think they stuck with for longest, which was the very sort of like quite complex songs, prog rock songs, and that seemed to start around 1980, was it? Was that?
Yeah, we'll go into the 20th century. It's
20th century, yeah, that album's fantastic.
And the title track, to me, is my favourite off it. It's just, again, when you excuse me, when you've listened to the stuff from the late 60s, 70s, and then you go into the 80s, it is
totally different.
It's noticeably different, and I really like that because that song to me stood out. I've said this before, I'm really bad with like picking where sounds, like a comparison.
Yeah, to pick out another song or band that it sounds
I know
like,
that you can do that and listen to it and go, oh yeah, this sounds like this band, but I really like that song.
And the next album as well, The Taste of Time, Vykusit na Vremeto, from 1982. All I will say as well is all of these albums have amazing artwork. That's the first thing. The album covers, all of them are fantastic. But
I think we're going to have to start looking at like secondhand shops and
looking to get some of this vinyl
because obviously we like displaying album art. I think that would be good.
But that 20th century and Taste of Time, the album covers are just fantastic. But that album and the title song as well, The Taste of Time, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. If you're someone out there who's not aware of this band or this music, go and check out even just some of the title tracks from these albums because they're just mind-blowing, so good. Then you had...
the next album is the Rider one, the Connie Cut.
Again, this is the song and the album that I first discovered of the band, and it was the one that I came home and said to Hannah, listen to this, it's so amazing. But that song, The Rider, or The Horseman, I don't know how you translate it, but I know on the album itself seemed to come out with the title of band and the album printed both in English and Cyrillic. And I know it calls it The Rider, but I thought the word translates to The Horseman, but probably the same thing.
Yeah.
But that song... just absolutely mind-blowing. So good. I cannot get enough of that song. And the album itself is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It is your typical 80s rock album.
It's fantastic.
It is on the same level as the ones that have come out of the UK and America, I think.
Yeah.
It's really good. And this is the one that you were listening to last night was Rock for Minalo Vreme. I'm reading my handwriting, which is writing in Bulgarian, so that's why I'm struggling. If it was printed, it would be okay.
Oh, and there was another song that you really loved. That, to be honest, this one is super hard to say.
This one is going to be hard to say.
No, but I would say this one in English is called The Unlived Things. And again, we were trying to say this, and it's very hard in Bulgarian for us.
It's a long one.
But that song, you said, just sounds just like Judas Priest.
Instantly, as soon as it started, it's like, oh, Judas Priest song.
Yeah.
It's only when the vocals come in, like, it's not, because obviously Rob Halford has such a, you pick him out of a crowd when he's singing. Judas Priest.
Yeah. But what a fantastic band. And, they had quite a career up until about 1990. I think they kind of called it quits for the first time. And then they did get back together over the intervening years, and they've done some big tours. 2007, I understood that they did a 40th anniversary tour in Bulgaria, which was free. So if any of you out there went to that concert tour or saw them on those dates, that'd be amazing to hear about that. And they did record some more music, but sadly some of the band members have passed away. And to be fair, I saw a statement by the remaining band members that kind of said, once these people had gone, we would never reform.
No.
The band wasn't the band without those people, I think, which was...
Yeah, because those people that kind of started are kind of the soul of the band. Because there are a lot of bands around the world that always just replace, like they want to keep going and they replace each member. But by the, when is the cutoff? At what point is the band still the band, or is it just a cover band?
There are some big bands out there that have no original members installed to it, but it's great to see that Shturcite was honourable in a sense that when some of the main people were not around anymore, they were calling it quits, and they've left an amazing body of work.
Yeah, that's it.
The songs
I
always
think
remain.
I think that's really cool when a band can do that, because when you've peaked.
Yeah.
And there's no room. You can't say, oh, they were all right until this album.
Yeah, they went out on the top.
Yeah.
For sure. It's amazing. Listening back through, there's just, as I say, there's a few songs early on that maybe were a bit lighter than I personally like, but the quality of the songs was so good, and definitely there's more than 60 or 70% of all of the albums that I can just listen to start to finish and just love. They're so good.
Yeah, well, those compilation albums, they definitely pick the best.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can just easily listen, even when, I know you said that those earlier stuff is a bit too tame, but I think you can still put it on it and enjoy those songs.
Yeah, for sure. No, as I say, I appreciate how well recorded they are. I appreciate the quality of the songs, but as I say, at the time they were definitely maybe mimicking the sort of that type of beat group where the vocal harmonies were really, really important. But as I say, I think they found their stride when they really explored the sort of prog rock elements, and just some fantastic albums. And as I say, beyond the great songs, the album covers are just spectacular. So distinctive and so good.
I think album art is as equally important as the songs that are on that disc.
Yeah.
Because we will, I don't think kids today not have this experience, but going to the music shop, you would buy an album just because it's cool artwork.
Absolutely.
So the investment in getting your artwork right is equal as getting that song right.
Well, that's it. If I saw The Taste of Time in a shop, I would be buying that because I think it's a stunning album.
And I think you would look at the artwork, you go, oh my God, that's so cool. And then obviously as a Bulgarian reading it, because to us at first, until we translate it and read Щурците, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a cool name. But the crickets, you're like, oh. Because when you listen to the 80s stuff, and then if you went back to the first album, you're like,
yeah, it's a different band.
Two different bands.
Yeah. So if any of you out there are fans of the band or have any memories of them, please share them with us, because, for us, it's great, as I say, that we can maybe discover this band and talk about it. Not being from Bulgaria, it's great to hear people's connection to the band who are Bulgarian, and your own memories of maybe seeing the band live, or maybe the albums that you bought when you were younger. That'll be wonderful. And if you're someone who's never heard of them before, go out and listen to them. You'll find them on YouTube, you'll find them on Spotify, or go out and find the albums. Absolutely fantastic band.
Definitely. And we read every single comment. I might not have time to always reply to everyone, but every single comment gets read.
Yeah. And I guess we need to decide what band we're going to do for episode 3.
Oh.
I think, we've done a couple of really important bands in the early days of sort of rock music in Bulgaria. So personally, I think we should the next one, we should do someone newer.
Yeah, closer. So not in actual chronological order.
No, I don't think we're doing chronological order. I think we can jump around because there's so many great older bands in Bulgaria. Don't get me wrong, we will try to get to them all. But I think, personally, I know who I'd want to do.
Go on then, because my mind is running blank.
Well, I think we should do Antifreeze. I think our next episode will be about Antifreeze, because there's certainly a couple of amazing songs in there.
Again, another band that came up on Z-Rock, and we were like, quickly,
quickly. Who is this band?
Who is this band?
Who is this? Yeah.
Because that's definitely up our street of music. It might not be, might not be popular for everyone.
No, but a great punk band. And yeah, I think it'd be great to speak about them. But there we go. That's for next time, Antifreeze. But for now, let us know about Shturcite and your connection to the band or any memories you have of them. And we'll see you next time.
Ciao.